Wow, please don't ask me what I'm wearing at the beginning of this video. I honestly don't know what I put on today, and I need to get makeup ready anyway, so I should probably dress down a bit so I can put the makeup on. My hair's a mess, so I've adopted this hat. Hey there my dudes, I am Laddie and welcome to another video. This video I was looking online at a bunch of like makeup people who do makeup, and I was like, wow, I really need to step up my game. I think I'm a bit too safe when it comes to makeup, so I actually wanted to start doing some makeup that's like not as, I guess, safe as I usually do. I seem to be just doing generic stuff. I want to like go bold, I want to go high up, I want to go, you know what I mean, I want to do some stuff. So I just want to do a video testing that out, doing some bold looks,
being my best me,
expressing myself, all this sort of stuff. And yeah, I guess we can do that while speaking about popular misconceptions of the trans community, which I was going to do for my Trans 101. I'm doing a sort of, yeah, popular misconceptions of the trans community. I'm going to have a live stream on at the same time as this video, and while I'm doing my makeup. Sometimes I actually just think it would be cool to like do my makeup and do my trans sort of like YouTube thing at the same time, so we can sort of combine them together, so people who don't care about makeup can still watch and have something interesting to listen to. I need to go get possibly some nails on, and also just, yeah, sort myself out because I look like, I mean, my hair's a mess, hence the little pink beanie, which is too warm for this time in summer. Okay, so I literally just put my nails on. They are super cute. Did that just on the live stream. They have little diamond things here. I'm actually going to, before getting into this video, I'm going to put on the makeup on my face. You guys have seen that in the last video. It isn't any different. I just want to start off with like already done foundation, and then we can move on to a really bold eye look, and I will do that for the video. Okay guys, so I have sort of done my face, high contour, high highlight and everything. The first thing that came up of common misconceptions of the trans community, and I think one that I should actually mention first. Obviously I'm doing makeup, and I think one of the common misconceptions is that trans people are, or should be, cut off to certain expressions or certain ways of expressing themselves. So for example, trans men are often seen as having to be like, by a lot of people at least I know, having to be like really masculine, or at least show themselves that way, or try and, you know, be the most macho man they can be, and trans women have to be like these really like these really sort of feminine type people to make up for the fact that they're transitioning. That is obviously not true. Look at me, I'm a trans man doing makeup at the moment, absolutely bloody loving it. So yes. So yeah, that's really the main thing. I think expression seems like it's a common misconception that a lot of trans people are either, like the binary trans people at least, are either really masculine or really feminine. Like trans men have to be really masculine, trans women have to be really feminine. Obviously that's not, that can be a trend, but I know a lot, especially in like my community and stuff, of trans people who definitely don't agree with that, who definitely like to play around with makeup and things like that. A lot of people who are watching my makeup vlogs at the moment quite like that, and so, you know, I've seen that they're actually more than I expected since doing this sort of beauty lifestyle stuff. So I guess we'll get on to misconception number 2. Okay guys, that makeup look is done. I guess I'm just going to get onto the actual popular misconceptions because I don't really like speaking when I'm doing makeup. I never end up getting anything done if I do speak when I'm doing my makeup. So a lot of parents often believe that we haven't considered how it's actually going to affect other people's lives. And often we do actually consider this. Like I did think originally, I thought, okay, my parents are going to have to lose their... You know what I mean? Like, it took me a little while to first consider it, but you do think, oh, my parents are actually going to have to lose their daughter or son, or, you know what I mean, whichever way around it goes, and it's going to be a struggle, but it's also going to be a struggle for me. So at the beginning, sometimes you do think selfishly, but you do often think of other people, and I think a lot of parents don't really know that. I'm going to put some lip gloss on. With trans people and with anyone, gender identity and sexual orientation aren't linked. They're not like one and the other. Like, I have people say to me like, oh, so you like guys, well, I'm bisexual technically, or pansexual, but it's like, so if you like guys, why didn't you just stay as a girl then and just be in a straight relationship? I'm like, well, because it's different. Like, you don't want to be in a straight relationship with a guy when you're a trans guy because you feel like a man inside, but you can have, just because you identify one way, you're still open to the whole range of sexual sexual identities and, well, sexual orientations. Like, I'm bisexual, and I always, well, pansexual, bisexual, whatever, and I always have been, like, since I can remember. I've always liked both or more. I didn't really know about more genders until like recently, but until like I was 16ish, but beforehand, like, I've always I've always known that I've liked both or more or whatever. I just always have. Don't know how I've always known, but it's not been ever linked to my gender. I never thought, oh, because I like girls, that means I should transition into a man. Completely unlinked. Sexuality and gender unlinked. And also, when I've transitioned into a man, I haven't started liking girls more because that's the norm. I've actually, to be fair, become more camp, as you can see, since I've transitioned, so it's like the opposite of, you know. So, not linked at all. I think another important one is not all trans people have to fully transition in order to actually like count as being trans. Like, for example, I've had top surgery. I've had top surgery, and I'm almost a year on T, and I haven't had bottom surgery. I don't really want to have bottom surgery at this point. And that doesn't make me not fully trans. Like, at the moment, I don't feel like bottom surgery, and that doesn't make me any more or less trans just because of that. I think another one is, and I think a lot of trans people do suffer with this, which is like depression and stuff like that, but not all trans people do have that. A lot of trans people have this thing called gender dysphoria. It definitely comes along with issues that often result in depression and self-harm and things like that. But however, not all trans people do have that, which I think a lot of people just assume that everyone, but I mean, most of the trans people I know do, but it's not all of them. Not every trans person knows from an early age, and I think this is from a lot of people who believe in RODG, which is people who've told me since my video where I spoke about me always, like there's a video of why I was good at being a girl, and I made that video, and I had a few comments of people being like, oh, you're definitely RODG, and I had to look it up. And RODG is rapid onset gender dysphoria, and it's basically saying that because you didn't realize earlier and you didn't know like your entire life, and you suddenly realized you're trans, you must have rapid onset gender dysphoria, which means you're sort of not trans. You just randomly feel this gender dysphoria for other reasons, for other traumas in your life. That is not true. That is not the reason. So yeah, they can fuck off. But yeah, you don't have to always know. I didn't always know. I started knowing when I was maybe 17ish. I'm 19 now. Yeah, like about 3 years ago, to be fair, because I'm nearly 20 now. So when I just turned 17 was when I knew. I didn't know all of my life. I definitely didn't know all of my life. I knew there were signs, but I only knew that when I started looking back. So yes, that's definitely a misconception, that trans people know as soon as they're out of the womb that they're the wrong like gender. It isn't for all of them, just some of them do. We're not all easily offended, or we're not all like SJWs, or we're not all we're not all triggered by everything. Like for me, I like to joke about shit. I definitely like to joke about shit. Most of the time, I am basically either trying to like rip my friends to shreds, like joke about stuff in their life or my life. And me being transgender, that is not a boundary to joke about. That is something that I find I love to joke about. I find it funny if people make jokes about it, as long as it's in like, you know, that mutual, I allow them, I've given them permission, I'm like, yeah, you can joke about it. But either way, I don't get offended. Also, if someone misgenders me, don't get offended. Well, obviously I prefer it not to happen, but I'm not going to freak out if someone does. I just say, oh, by the way, I'm a dude, likes to be called he. Cool. And that's, you know, I don't get easily offended by jokes, or like, I'm not one of those people who's what you call a snowflake, or just people who are generally like, you know, like they seem to expect us to all be so sensitive, or to us all, I don't know, to not be able to function without us being like really close to the like what you'd generically see someone in the LGBT society like, you know, we're all different people. We're not, some people seem to just bunch us in the same. I know if you looked at me, you'd think I'd like be going, you know, to like rallies and shit, or like for like, I don't know, whatever. But we're not all easily offended, or we're not all like SJWs. Like there seems to be this bubble that everyone puts us in, that we're some kind of snowflakes, but no, that's not us all. We're also not all either one or the other. That's debatable by some people. Some people don't believe in non-binary, but there is non-binary, and non-binary is a big part of the trans community that often a lot of people sort of either forget about or just sort of push out. That's a popular misconception, that there isn't like, that you either transition to the opposite or you don't transition at all. Some people transition in between. There's loads of different kind of people I know who are sort of the in-between genders, so, you know. There's the false misconception that we're going to attack you in the toilets, especially that whole misconception between trans women going into women's toilets, trans men going into men's toilets. Like, for example, trans men are going to go into the men's toilets and perv on men, because they're actually just women trying to perv on men. I don't get it, but okay. And then also the fact they think that trans women are going to be these men pretending to be women that are going to go into the women's toilets and attack women. No, most of us just want to pee. So, you know, stop being so self-centered and making it seem like we actually want to attack you 24/7. No, it can happen, as it can happen with people just going into the women's in general without spending all that time trying to dress up as a trans woman. Like, people just do it. Statistically, is more likely that some guy's just going to barge into the women's toilets and assault someone, rather than someone spend the entire time trying to like dress up as a trans woman or something. Like, no, we're not. Yeah, no, we're not trying to do that. Not all trans people stick together. I think a lot of people think that trans people sort of, and even I thought originally, and I guess I still do, because, you know, when I see a trans person, I'm often like, hi, what's up? But not all trans people sort of have to flock together, and like, we're not all friends, but it is true the community is a very tight community. We do know a lot of people within the community, but just because you know a trans person doesn't mean we're going to be friends. Like, I have a lot of people be like, oh, I have this trans friend, you guys would get on so well. I often don't get on with the people that people say, oh, you'd get on so well. Like, they just assume that we're all going to get on. It's like when people are like, oh, I have a gay friend, or I have a bisexual friend, you guys would get on so well, I'll introduce you. I'm like, cool. I guess we don't. So not all of us are going to get on. If you have a trans friend, it doesn't mean you should, like, oh, I have a trans friend, do you know them? Like, no, I probably don't know them. And I think the last one I'm going to speak about is misconception in the trans community is you can always tell someone is trans. A lot of cis people I know say like, well, I can always tell when someone is trans. I could tell that you were trans, like, you know, after I've told them, obviously. And they say, well, it's in the eyes, it's in the body shape, it's in this and that. And to be fair, a lot of people can't tell people are trans until it's pointed out to them, or they have to search for it. Like if you say, oh, can you look in this crowd? I know that a few of these people are trans, tell me who's trans. Like that's usually the only reason. So I can't really think of any other misconceptions of the trans community. We're all these edgy, edgelord people, and then I realised looking at me, I have the weirdest, edgiest style today. Should we have a look at a style today? Seeing as it's coming to the end of the video. We have this beanie that I've got on, my earrings, I've even got this little thing, and also we've got some of these lovely feelers shoes, which are like my favourite. Anyway, I'm sure if I've forgotten something, I'll add it in post. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe for more videos like this and more makeup looks, because hi. I'm just feeling myself. If you guys didn't see my last video of me speaking about having dysphoria and also doing the makeup stuff, then please check it out. So that's why you should subscribe, click the notification down below, and also there'll be loads of photos of this look and other looks on my Instagram, so social media links down below as well. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye, love you all. Love you all. Oh, wow. Hi.